Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for clicking on my video. If you haven't done so already, please help me build my channel. This is a new channel by clicking the subscribe button and the notifications bell on your way out so that you'll be notified next time I post something. Okay, so basically this channel will be used for sharing my spiritual journey. I've had a spiritual awakening as of the beginning of this year. I started that pretty strongly, and I've had a lot of different experiences, a lot of increases to the consciousness and awareness that I've been experiencing. Changes needed to be made in my life and the way I made decisions and my beliefs and things like that. So that is well underway and going very well. And I wanted to share my experience because I feel like maybe there's somebody out there that's going through some of the similar things that I did, and it might help them to get through it a little bit easier. It is something that we need to do on our own. It's a soul, an individual soul growth. And I'm finding that all of what I used to think was slightly off, because I always wondered why people did things the way they did them, and I would always see myself doing something and I'd be like, I wonder, let's try it like this. Or like, I'm always open, I guess I'm trying to say, I'm always open to, different ideas that people have. I'm always open to listening, and I've always very much valued education. So if I don't already know it, then why wouldn't I want to know it? Or at least learn about it a little bit and decide if I wanted to know more about it or not, I pick up other people's pains, their emotions, their sadness, their whatever, and I find it almost impossible. I'm working on that, but I find it very difficult to close off my energy to them, because I'm so used to them that it's not like, okay, I don't know you, I have to keep space here, you know what I mean? It's just difficult for me to shut that off. I mean, shutting out people just because they don't fit with who I'm becoming at the moment. Maybe there's something that I can offer to them in hopes to help them make better decisions. We don't ever know what that's going to be. I'll use myself as an example. Sometimes I don't understand things, or I don't understand what the lesson is, or how I'm supposed to behave, or what I'm supposed to get from this situation or that situation. And so I'll ask my higher self and my guides, and I'll ask and be like, make it clear to me, like, what is this? Is it this? Is it that? Make it clear to me that this is what it is. And sometimes I'll be confronted with a complete stranger, and they'll just say 2 or 3 words, and it's just like, oh, that's the answer to my question. Is that the answer to my question? And then I'll get a confirmation that yes, it is. And it's like, oh my gosh. So everything happens for a reason, right? That's basically what I can be 100% certain of at this point, is that everything happens for a reason. And it's become apparent to me that there's been a few times that I was tested by my spirit guides, that it's like they're giving me opportunities to use these new skills that I'm developing, and really to hone them in, to make them a really solid foundation for what comes next, because you don't need outside evidence. This is actually happening and really affecting the consciousness on a global scale of the entire world. And we're moving into a new paradigm. The paradigm is shifting from the old to the new way of doing things, and what was old cannot be in the new. So that's why these relationships, these twin flame relationships, are so important right now, because many people can get on a spiritual awakening and it can take them decades, if not their entire lifetime, and they never even start really scratching the surface of their soul growth, which means that they carry all of that baggage that they created in this lifetime over to the next lifetime and the next one until they really are impacted and shook like one is whenever they encounter their twin flame. It is like an instant soul recognition, but it's so out of character and out of the norm of the way society does things and the way we're conditioned to believe and feel about things. But that's whenever the real soul growth actually starts to take place, which is what I was talking about earlier, referring to when you have to be alone. You really need to be alone and experience this without any opportunity for codependency. So that you can really get to the bottom of it. You can really get the lesson. So that's what happens with the twin flame experience. You get propelled into your spiritual awakening. Like it just went from we're bobbing down the road a mile to 5 miles an hour versus we just floored it. Now we're at 150, 160, and there's no stopping this train. So that's kind of getting us all ready for the massive paradigm shift to the new way of the world, which is being happier and living life to the fullest and being more pleasant and positive and seeing ourselves in each and every person that we encounter throughout the day, whether it be an old part of us that needs nurturing or a new part of us that is something to aspire to or something that we might be able to relate to in the moment that we're actually going through right now. But just being able to see ourselves, whether past, present, or future selves, in other people, everyone that we encounter is just amazing. It's an amazing experience, but it's highly necessary in order for us to be able to really share on a level that doesn't really matter what other people think, because we've been so conditioned in society today, and it's really to your highest good to do it. Sorry, there's a call. It's, so every once in a while there's those opinions that we get, and now I see them differently. Before it was just like, oh, wow. It's like, what's wrong with that person? Why are they treating me like that? What did I do? And now I realize that it's not something necessarily that I did to them that bothered them, in a sense that I'm like, why would you get upset with me for wanting my own life to be wonderful and believing in myself and my own abilities? Whenever for some reason it's just something that was reflected back to that person in themselves that was like, whoa, you can't do that. Well, they never stop to ask themselves, why do they think that they can't do that? If I bought an old house that needed to be completely rewired electrically and we just scrapped the whole thing and rebuilt from the ground up, that's the new me. Like, essentially, obviously my body is better. The same and everything. And my kids are the same. My house is the same. But essentially, from my mental perspective, as sometimes we tend to be harder on ourselves. I know I am, for sure, harder on myself than I am on others, which actually it's kind of balanced for me, but others think that I'm much harder on them. And then even my mom says, you're too hard on yourself. And I'm like, no, because whenever you are uncomfortable, you grow. You know what I mean? There has to be that period of purgatory, like, okay, something should be happening and it's not, and it needs to. So what the hell am I going to do about it? Or am I just going to sit here and let my life pass me by and blame it on everybody else around me? I'm really learning a lot of stuff, and I'm doing a lot of introspection, which I've always been really an introspective type person. Like, I've always really internalized things, and I've been really big on teaching my kids the same thing, where they'll come home from school. Sometimes my daughter, last year, 5th grade, she came home and she was like, oh, Mom, the whole class hates me. And I'm like, the whole class? I'm like, but I thought you were friends with so-and-so and so-and-so. Yeah, but they hate me now too. And I'm like, well, if 1 or 2 people say that something's wrong or they don't like you, I was like, well, maybe it's just that you guys don't mesh well. I was like, but if it's everybody in the class, then my next question to you, honey, would be, is there something that you can do differently? That is like the first thing that I say to her whenever I find out the information, like I just described herein. So it's always about what can I do differently, and I always tell them, you know what? Don't worry about it. You can only control one person a day. That is you every day. Nowadays, it's like, I got to do me today. Sorry. And tomorrow, I got to take care of other people. So I'm going to put you in a list, but it's going to be a minute. So just keeping my people at arm's length. The only people I'm really seeing right now is my clients and my babysitters. That's pretty much it, and my kids. But everything's going really good. I'm really open to, if you guys are dealing with something and you want to comment below, or if you want to share it with me privately, and then I can elaborate on it for you. I prefer to do it in a video forum, because then I'm going to post it and others can benefit from it as well. However, I guess if you wanted to have a private with me, you could. But I really think that it's important about what resonates with you. I'm happy to do whatever I can to help you guys on your journey and answer any questions that I might have the answers to. If things start repeating them in your life, then you know that those are probably involving a soul lesson that you can get. And so in that case, check back some other time. I do have a couple of other things as well that I'm working on as far as channels go. So I will keep you posted on that. Whatever I have going on can be found in the description box below. And one last time, it was so nice meeting